Hey everyone, Malacite here, and I'm bringing you a Paragon video. Today we're going to be covering the well, like it says here, let's learn the basics of Paragon. First things first, they just released version 28, and this is the new UI they've put in for the menu. Personally, I'm not a fan of the gray gradient in the background, but overall, the way everything's laid out, it's all bright and colorful. They have hot links to all the pages now. It's pretty freaking nice. They also expanded the in-game little tutorial tips, which are pretty handy. But before we get to any of that, I just want to mention a few things. Right now, anyone who has PlayStation Plus will get automatically qualifies for a free Founders Pack, which is normally valued at $20. And on top of that, they are offering a 25% discount on the upgrades to the Challenger and Master Founders Packs, which are normally $60 and $100 for normally $60 and $100 respectively. You only pay the difference, so that would actually be $40 or $80, and on top of that, there is a 25% discount. So really, you're looking at about $60 for the Master Pack. And if you like the game, if you're considering getting into it, I highly recommend getting the Master Pack for that price. It's too good to pass up. I actually got screwed and ended up paying the full $100 just a couple of weeks ago, and Sony are being dicks and won't give me the refund on it. But anyway, that's an aside thing. It's insane value, because I'll show you why just here. So let's go to the hero page. Okay, so normally you can't see here because I already have it, but these master challenges can be bought with the in-game currency, which is reputation, or you can also spend real money to buy coins. Now I believe they're roughly 1,500 coins each, which is about $15, or 75,000 reputation, which will take you a hell of a long time to earn, and also you really do not want to be blowing your reputation on an especially so much on an individual character's challenge. It's not really worth it. Unless you only plan on playing like maybe a handful of characters, that could be okay, but that's still money that you could be reputation that you could be spending on card packs. So like if we go to the store, card packs, this is the one most people tend to buy. Sometimes the weekly has good stuff. Actually, this week's packs is pretty good. You get 3 really good cards in here. But normally, yeah, so a normal pack of 5 is about 10,000 points. So you're missing out on 7.5 card packs just to get one Master Challenge. It's not. And the Master Challenges are awesome. They unlock new skins. So let's just go over real quick to one. The new guy, Chimera, looks awesome. So at the very end, you will unlock the Master Challenge skin, which, look at him, he's all badass and demonic looking. Also gets you a taunt, and you get little rewards along the way too, like you get bonus hero EXP for you and your team, as well as free card packs and other little bonuses. So the Master Challenges are awesome. It's just hard to justify spending 75,000 reputation just for a single one. I mean, it's true, this game is free to play. It will be free to play when it launches later this summer. I believe open beta officially starts August 16th. But everyone who has PlayStation Plus is currently getting in on the early access for free. So, and you're being given that Founders Pack $20 value free for your PlayStation Plus membership. So that's just too good to pass up. Alright, so that aside, let's go right into the foundation of this game, which is deck building. So for the example, I'm going to go with my Feng Mao deck, which is a crit-oriented focus. I have him set up as an assassin. So this is all very, very intimidating at first glance. It was definitely overwhelming for me when I first tried it. Took a little while to figure it all out. But essentially, you have a maximum of 40 cards you can put in. Okay? And then what you want to, so you have your prime, you have a choice of 3 cards, the Warlord, Archmagus, and Centurion. These are all super cards that activate once you defeat the Orb Prime minion and take the Orb to the spawner. But that's a whole other mechanic. We'll cover that maybe in a later video. For now, the main thing is, so you basically have that one card that's always picked by default, and then you have 40 other cards that you pick for whatever. So here, just what you want is you want a good mix, usually of early game stuff. Like so, the health and mana potions are really good. They did just get nerfed in this patch, so they're less effective, and now they only have 2 charges instead of 3, but they're still pretty good in the early game. The mana potion in particular is still OP, giving you 3.8 mana back. It used to be 5.3, whereas the health potion got nerfed down from 14 to 10, which is a bit more significant. But the mana potion is still viable in the late game because the most recovery you can get from a single mana card, I believe, is 1.5, and that's going to cost you a whopping 5 card points out of your allotted 60, which is another thing I actually want to mention right now. You have a maximum of 40 cards you can place in your deck, but throughout the course of a match, you can only get up to a maximum of 60 points. Now, prior to this patch, it was much rarer to actually see games go on long enough and hit that maximum cap, but it actually happens a bit more frequently now because of the recent economy changes they've made. They have more on the way. They're supposed to be nerfing shared EXP for kills, but for now, they jacked up the bonus for last hitting minions, which is something I'll cover in a bit. And also for last hitting heroes and power. Basically, like, card points are flowing like water right now. Like, if players who perform well in a match will see their power rise very rapidly now. And conversely, if you're dying a lot, if you're losing team fights, your team is going to get screwed in a hurry. So winning those team fights is more important than ever. Alright, so let's get to the basics here. So we're here, this is a critical hit build that I have going for him. So here you can see these are my so I have an impact hammer here, which increases my damage and my critical hit chance, and I have it jacked with more crit. And then here too, I have more Spears of the Rift Hunters, so these are cranking up my critical hit and damage some more. And then I have my crit passive, of course, which increases my crit bonus from 150 to 200%, effectively doubling the damage of every critical hit. But the thing to note here too is what I have here, the Red Eye Nitros. Now these are basically small little buff throwaway cards, more or less. So like they're cheap to equip, and I have them specifically equipped with a few minor cards. These are super important. I used to think they were garbage when I first started the game, but then I quickly realized that these minor cards that only cost 1 are absolutely vital. They can be used for quote-unquote throwaway equipment like these, which basically, like, as I progress further into my deck and start actually getting to the bulk of my build, I'll just simply discard these to get the card points I spent back and dump them into my actual cards I'm going to use for my build. So it's kind of like a tech switch mid through the game. The other thing that they're really good for is for cards like this, okay, where where they have a unique passive that you really want to activate. In this case, it's more critical hit damage. Or these one-cost cards, if you have a lot of them in here, can be used to cheaply activate the passive on this card, which also saves you points to place elsewhere. Which actually I'm going to be modding that later, but so just to give you a basic understanding, okay? So you begin every game with about 3 CP right off the bat, and every time you get an upgrade, it always comes in 3. So once you accumulate enough card EXP, you get a level up, and you gain. Okay, and you can do this from killing minions, killing enemy players, and also from harvesters, as well as bringing down other objectives like enemy towers and the Prime Guardian. So that brings me to another point, which is last hitting. Last hitting is super important. It's more important than ever in this game, like I just said, because of the increases right now. So what that means is when you see a little enemy minion in the lane or an enemy hero, whoever gets the last hit on them, like the blow that kills the unit, will gain a substantial boost to their card EXP and their character EXP. So this will help you level up and get more card points and progress and become more powerful in the match. It's not my favorite mechanic, to be perfectly honest, because I find it really makes things more competitive than it needs to be, like among teammates. I mean, especially with the ADC characters, which are basically guys like Twin Blast and Sparrow. You're basically the ranged auto attackers that just don't worry too much about their abilities. They focus mainly on shooting the other guy. and just dealing a whole crap ton of damage through their basic attacks. If they're gonna be the ones like really punking the kills on you most of the time, and which is not bad because you need them to kill the other team faster. But the whole thing just gets super competitive. And anyway, long story short, this is a major thing to focus on and to get the hang of like time. Letting like when you have minions fighting each other, you know, waiting for that perfect moment to put in your attack and get in the blow. It's also not entirely horrible to use certain ultimates like Gideon's Black Hole or let's see, or Gadget's her Tesla Dome, which are wide area of effect supers that do a ton of damage. Just using them to basically kill a whole ton of minions in the lane, because you'll rack up so much card points. Yes, you're losing your ultimate, which could be bad in a team fight if you don't have it, but the power gains from it could be worth it in the long run. Anyway, so that about covers it. So, you know, you guys, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if I missed anything. But that's the basics of deck building. I mean, they did update each character too, so now they have intermediate and advanced decks. So if you don't, like, you only have so many deck slots. Okay, I have quite a few unlocked because I'm level 28. You only start off with, I believe, 5, and you earn more as you level up, and you can buy some more. But I would advise against buying them just because I'm not 100% sure, because I'm not at 50 yet, but I think you can eventually earn enough deck slots for at least to fill up the board here. I don't know if it scrolls down or not. I think 14 might be the hard cap. But yeah, don't worry if you can't build a deck for a character you want to play. You can always just still pick them and pick one of the starter decks that they put in. Like I said, it's really nice that they added the newer ones so that they're not as weak. So as you're getting better with the character, maybe you decide you want to build your own custom deck for them later, you can still play them and get a feel for that, and then build your own afterwards. I guess for anyone, yeah, because your deck is basically like your bread and butter. I mean, it's where you equip, it's where you set all your abilities, like, so. Like, basically, you have your equipment, and then you have your upgrades that you slot in here, and then when you max them out, you get the full-on bonus. Yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure I already went over this, but it is super important to have some early game equipment, even that you're not necessarily going to keep throughout the end game, just because. So, for an example, let's take the Flash Fire Piston, attack, speed, and damage. I could load this up with 3 minor kinetics or minor strikes with, just spend as little card points as possible to get a bit of a boost and to get that upgrade bonus. This is super important in the early game, because what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to bully your lane, which means you're going to have an early edge over the other team, and it's going to allow you to continue to rack up points, which you can then use to later upgrade your cards further. Off, like I said earlier, often like discarding, like I would discard these for these ones. Because, oh yeah, I should mention, you only have 6 slots for equipment in the game. So I'm on PlayStation 4, so it's R3, L3, and then the D-pad. And certain cards also have unique actives when they're leveled up, such as, let's see, there's like Honor the Pure here. So just by equipping this, you can push one of the this has to be on one to use it. It has to be on one of the D-pads. You can't use the sticks to activate. So you only have, out of all your equipment, only 4 of them can have unique active abilities. Otherwise, you won't be able to use them all. Trying to think of anything in it. Oh yes, there's one final thing. Anytime you see a card that says unique passive, it means just that. It's unique. You cannot have multiple copies of this. So, for example, see the Sword of the Altar, which gives extra critical hit damage, as well as and then they have the Hunger Maul, which also does that, and then the Blade of Agora, which is right here. Yes. So all of these give critical hit damage. But even if you have 3 of them and they're all fully leveled up, you will only have the one. Whoop, sorry, I got cut off there. I hit the max bit recording link. So yeah, anyway, so as I was saying, yes. So with unique passives or actives like that, just keep in mind you can only have 1 instance of those. So that should cover it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment, and I will try to respond as soon as possible. Right? So until next time, guys, have fun and see you in Agora. Paragon is an awesome game. Looking forward to release later this year.